Hello, welcome to another Gundam Battle Operation 2 video. That is the new suit, the EWAC Jegan, and yeah, it definitely looks like a Isaac and a Jegan had a very lovely child together. Very lovely looking too. This hammerhead looking ass over here is actually a unicorn suit and is another Jegan, and yeah, unicorn is looming over us right now. I think a lot of people are definitely saving up right now. They see this suit and they go, that's cool. Can't wait till they get the unicorn. The Banshee or something else from Unicorn, right? That's really popular. But yeah, so how is this suit? It is, first of all, I'm surprised it's actually a general. It's not a support. It is a 550 general. And it plays more like a support. It doesn't have a dodge roll either. So how will it fare? Well, first of all, I got two matches here for you. One of them is in custom match, this first match here with friends. It's not too serious. And then the next match is actually my first time playing it in Underground Base, which I know in my testing video I said I wasn't going to do that. But right before I went to bed, I decided to do it anyway because I just wanted to play the suit. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. And now we're going to start off with the stats. I already mentioned it is a 550 general, surprisingly. And yeah, for stats, you have 17,000 health, you have 24 ballistic resistance, 16 beam resistance, wow, 20 melee resistance, 25 range strength, 35 melee strength, 125 speed, 210 boost speed, 65 thruster gauge, and 66 turning speed. And for slots, you have 15 close range, 17 mid-range, yeah, close, 15 close, 17 mid, and 8 long range slots. And yeah, the stats are kind of weird on this. It definitely feels like this might have been a support at one point. They changed it to a general because it has, or a general. It has 16 beam resistance, which is kind of low for 550, and 20 melee resistance, which yeah, that's not going to stop any of the 550 suits from running up and just absolutely just dunking on you with their melee combos, right? Ooh, nice downswing there. So yeah, but you can buff up your defenses with that 17 mid-range slots for your beam defense, and you can actually get some pretty good melee strength out of this. And it does help for if you want to play like an ambush style with the suit, because it does have stealth. We'll get to that when we get to skills. But yeah, now for onto your weapons here. For one weapon you have, or your first weapons, primary weapons, you have the Jegan beam rifle, which is 1,800 damage with 6 rounds, 350 range, and yeah, it is just your basic stun rifle. Yeah, just a Jegan beam rifle. Good old Jegan beam rifle. And then your next weapon here is actually the Stark Jegan Hyper Bazooka, which is 2,500 damage, 4 rounds, 300 range. And yeah, you actually get a ballistic bazooka here, and it's one that does a lot of damage. But this is the the Stark Jegan Hyper Bazooka, and it has like next to no blast radius, so you're gonna have to play pretty precise with it, to say the least. And I prefer using this weapon over the beam rifle because I prefer to do more ballistic damage, because at this cost a lot of people don't build for ballistic resistance, so I take advantage of that. And then for your melee weapon, you have the Jegan Beam Saber, which is 2,000 damage, and yeah, you actually have a unique downswing. It's kind of similar to the Stamens, where instead of doing a diagonal slash, you do a horizontal slash when you're sliding. It still hits people on the ground too, so that's pretty good. And if you do buff up your melee strength, I think I've gotten close to and sometimes a little bit over 3,000 damage, so that's good for backstabbing people. For a little bit for ambush, That's nice. For your secondary weapons, you have first of all, you have a bunch of cameras here. I'm gonna start off with the one weapon you do have, and that is the waist-mounted grenade, which is 800 damage, 3 rounds, and 250 range. It takes all 3 of the grenades. Oh man, I really wish I would have hit that downswing. It takes all 3 grenades to get a stun. It's there for if you want to try and get a stun accumulation that way, without wasting an instant stun, or teaming up with somebody to get a potential stun, adding in extra damage. It's just there, It does, do some decent damage, 800 damage, ballistic wise, so that's pretty good. And now for your camera weapons, you have 3. You have, starting off with the camera unit, which is 0 damage, 100% heat rate, so it's heat rate based, and 600 range. And it's actually on your right hand, which is going to be important when I mention the other camera here. And yeah, it just works like a good old spot camera. You take a picture of somebody and from a good distance, and the people can see what they do, you know, what type they are, what suit they are. Yeah, and they do more damage to that person, your team, you and your team. Next camera here, camera weapon you have is the sensor unit, which is 0 damage, 3 rounds, and 600 range. And it's pretty much the EWAC's optical camera, where it has 3 rounds as well. And of course, you take a picture of somebody and it stays on them for a little bit. Nice. Man, that was actually a pretty good grenade hit there. 1,222 damage on a good plant. Jesus Christ, if only all 3 of them hit, he would have been dead. But no, he's going to get the counter instead. So yeah, so that's potentially 4 camera already. If 4 camera spots already with the heat based, you can actually pretty much get the entire team on camera. You can put them on the cringe compilation, and but you do have one more sensor unit, and that is the sensor unit area, which is 0 damage, 100% heat rate, and 200 range, which it's like, so you think of the EWAC's area of effect where it actually takes up like pretty much a little bit over your radar, but this suit actually does that at 200. Yeah, it says 200 range. Yeah, it's very close ranged, and it actually hits multiple times. It hits a total of 3 times, and each time it takes a picture of somebody that's, you know, within your range, and it lingers the same way as the EWAC's AOE lingers for the camera spot, which is only like a few, like 1-2 seconds. But since this thing hits 3 times, people will stay on the radar, or they stay on the camera spotting mode for a longer amount of time. That's pretty good. If somehow you rushed into the enemy team, you can do that, and now your team knows what's going on. It kind of works, I guess, since you're technically like an early warning reconnaissance suit, so you can do that. Like, you can almost play like a scout, right? Scout up ahead. Maybe somebody's close to you, pull that off. The good thing about it is that while that the area sensor unit is going off, you can actually just attack people while it's going off. So yeah, let's say like you're running away from somebody already knows that, like, okay, there's a good plant attacking you, and you run into somebody else and your area sensor goes off and you're fighting them. Your team comes up like, okay, so now there's another person there, support, you know. So there's some uses. I wish it was a little bit more. There's a little bit more range to it, maybe like 300 at least. 200 seems pretty low. You have to be like pretty close to people for it. I guess I can understand what they're going for, but yeah, that's just my opinion. And yeah, that's for the weapons there. And then for skills, you have maneuver armor, balancers, you have AMBAC level 2, you have melee combo controller, that's 2 melee swings, you have force injectors, you have radar level 3, you have personnel radar level 3, you have stealth level 2. I think this is our first general with stealth, so that's nice. You have anti-jamming as well. You also have the marker ability, which you guys don't know. That means you can put your support fire on this person, and I guess they can run over and just in the middle of people and you know, get themselves killed and potentially cause the enemy team to die as well because of the support fire. And before we continue on, timeout. We'll see what we did for this custom match here with friends. Yep, mission completed, and we'll see what we got going on here today. Not on the board. Good plant, definitely going to get a praise. He's an S- after all. And yeah, 3rd place, 5-2. I wasn't expecting 3rd place, but yeah, pretty decent. And we'll see how we go with our first match on Underground Base and our first match overall with the EWAC Jegan. It's pretty rough, but there's going to be a funny little thing here is that we have a good portion of our team is GPO4s. If you guys aren't aware, the GPO4 and the Super Gundam are now available on the ground, which I will make a video about that soon. I am very happy about that. Both those suits are extremely good, even in space and on ground as well. I will definitely make a video about that. But to continue on with the skills here, you have Precision Analyst System Level 2, which is actually you do. I'm trying to remember. I believe for Precision Analyst or Analyst and I really cannot pronounce that. Just Precision Level 2. I believe you did 15% more damage, or it added. Let's say if you're using the EWAC machine gun, you shot somebody, it added 15 more damage to your machine gun shot, right? I don't know how that stacks to a 550. A 550 like general using burst damage, like like a stun with the bazooka or something. So I don't know how much that would add to it, but it is a level 2. So I believe, let's see, if you're going by like GBO2, usually their levels add like another 5%. So maybe you do 20% more or 20 more damage to something. So there's that. So you are doing more damage to people, and that does help the team because you take a picture of somebody and your team, or take a picture of the whole team actually, since you have so many cameras. Your team will actually be doing more damage to that team. They're at an advantage, right? So that's nice. And then you also have shoulder add-on buffer level 2, which I think actually counts your entire head, since technically it's not your head. It's also your shoulders. And you also have arm equipment buffer, which or arms equipment buffer, which should be the camera guns on your arms. And then you have flight control level 2, so you can boost in the air, like if you're falling. So that's nice. And it works with force injectors as well, so you can switch positions in the air. So nice. And yeah, that is the EWAC Jegan. I gotta say, I'm still trying to figure out this suit. I keep trying to play like a support because honestly it feels like a support, but it's not. It's a general, and it does feel kind of weak in areas. Like if you get dogged on, you're dead. You have 20 melee resistance. You have 16 beam resistance. So you definitely want to buff it up, but you can do some pretty damn good ambush damage. Like 3,000 damage down swings, and then you can team up with your teammates here. Like here with this GPO 4, yeah, pretty good combo. Almost killed the. I say almost. He still had like a little bit of a quarter of health there. The Gira Doga. There we go. Almost like Gira Zulu. So it has potential, right? But yeah, I don't know why it's not a support. It looks like a support, acts like a support. It should be a support. I don't know why it's a general, but it has stuff, right? I don't think it's probably not wise to use this in a 5v5 since you are missing a frontline general at 550 especially. So this might be a wiser pick in 6v6 game modes or matches. So that way you can take a picture and then help your team, a majority of your team, right? Because in a 5v5 you're missing that hard hitting frontline suit, or just somebody to protect the support, because it doesn't have very good stun accumulation with the bazooka. I'm trying to remember how the Jegan beam rifle, how that not stun me. The Jegan beam rifle as well, but pretty much you have to rely on the grenade launchers, and you only have 3. So yeah, good luck with that. Maybe if you're really good at hitting those, then yeah. So overall, this suit does have really good utility. At least it has, of course, the multiple camera options that could be really useful. Of course, because that lets your team do extra damage to the enemy team, especially if you spot somebody that's like a higher priority target. Like let's say like this DJ that killed me. The DJ is doing really good. And you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna take a picture of you. We're gonna do extra damage to you. We're gonna make sure you die, motherfucker. Especially good for suits that have like high burst damage, or again like a machine gun. That way they can do extra damage with that machine gun, or Vulcans, or again like a bazooka. You get more bang for your buck. The sensor unit area is weird since it's so close range, and I think that's a problem with the suit. A very serious con is that you have a very sizable suit, pretty easy to hit, especially with the head there. You can definitely get shot over buildings. That's happened to me before, depending on how short the buildings are, because it just juts out so far and so wide. You also have no dodge roll. You have maneuver armor, which is good, but there's a lot of suits at 550 that people like to pick that will stop your maneuver armor. You have in this match already, you have a DJ, and I think there is an efreet Schneid as well. Both those suits, quite common. The efreet Schneid, mostly, with the shotgun, yeah, that stops you just dead in your tracks with maneuver armor. I say mostly, especially the efreet Schneid. I think actually I see them more, just equally amount of times in a match. But yeah, it does a lot. They can stop you, and they have really good melee damage, and you will take a lot of damage if you get caught with those guys. So you have to play like a support, But you can also do like ambush. It's very weird. I'm trying to figure it out still. I don't think it's a throw pick exactly. I think it has its uses. I think it has a utility. It may not be a suit you want to pick for like clan matches unless you have like a 6v6 and you're trying to go for that just teamwork, I guess, the ambush teamwork. I have no idea. I have to play with this suit more. But yeah, well, man, we still have a lot of this match to go. A minute and 30 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the GPO4 and the Super Gundam being on the ground before I wrap up my thoughts on the EWAC. It sounds so weird, EWAC. The EWAC Jegan. And if you guys don't know, I mentioned earlier, yeah, the Super Gundam and the GPO4 are now on the ground. And I gotta say, both those suits work wonderfully on the ground. We were actually doing really good this match with S- players and A+ players, with a good portion of our team being GPO4s. It's quite crazy to think about how these two suits they hit ground, and they immediately obsoleted a few of the newer supports at this cost. Like the RS Georgia, goodbye RS Georgia. Get the fuck out. And if you have both the Hyzak Custom and the Super Gundam, you might want to pick the Super Gundam over the Hyzak Custom. I love the Hyzak Custom, but man, the damage output of the Super Gundam is just insane. And the GPO4 plays super aggressively. If you have a team like this match where you're teaming up with somebody, does excellent teamwork. It does a really good supporting job. It feels really damn good to play. Both these suits on the ground. And man, I cannot wait to see if like any other space-only suits get put on the ground, like maybe the Bishop. Actually, that might be kind of scary since it has like a shotgun, beam shotgun thing going on with its hands, you know. Or maybe the Thunderbolt Gundam. I don't know how that's going to work. Of course, you know, maybe they did these two supports specifically because maybe they could be used on the ground. I know the GPO4 is a lot better with that since it looks like it can be used on the ground. The Gabera Tetra is used on the ground, you know. But hey, mission completed. We'll see how it go. We did this match. Hey, our general did really good. I'm definitely going to be praising one of the GPO4s. And hey, 6th place, below average. But then again, that was my first match in the EWAC Jegan. Especially, it's an underground base. I hate this map. But I had to play the EWAC Jegan. And yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like. Subscribe if you want. I'd really appreciate it. And, you know, type up in the comment section how you feel about the EWAC Jegan and how you feel about the supports coming to the ground. The GPO4 and the Super Gundam. Now, the EWAC Jegan, I'm conflicted on because I think there's some stuff about it's really good. I think they need to buff some of its resistances because it has no dodge roll at a cost where you can get dunked on easily by some of the, you know, like the mentioned Efreet Schneid or Dejay or something else that has a shotgun or has really good stun accumulation and then just dunk on you with melee. This suit will suffer from that. Especially, yeah, since it has no dodge roll. It has maneuver armor, which is nice. And it does have stealth, which is quite good. And it has the ability to, to ambush people. It has the camera ability as well. And a lot of cameras, so you can take a picture of the entire enemy team. And your team will benefit from that. But I'm going to see how this does in a week or so. Because I feel like it does have benefits, but it feels like it's a little bit too weak at the moment. Maybe, again, I have to play with it a little bit more. But, you know, it's an interesting suit to pick at because, yeah, it feels like it should have been a support, but it is a general. There's probably a reason they made it a general, maybe because there's already enough supports at 550 and they didn't want to, you know, add another support on the ground now that they have the Super Gundam and the GPO4 on the ground now. Which on the subject of those two, yeah, though, again, as I said earlier, those two are fucking damn good on the ground. Feels amazing to play. I wish a lot of supports felt like those two on the ground. But yeah, and before we sign off here, I want to let you guys know that every Friday I have around like 3 p.m., 4 p.m., I have spectator matches. If you guys want to join in those, it is an open invitation. It's always fun to have people there. It always goes on for like forever. We have like 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. I think we did a 9 hour one at one point. So it's always fun to be playing with you guys, just to see how it's just nice to watch people play this game, to see the differences in skill level and how a suit can be played. Because I'm certainly not the best player in this game, but it's nice to see different people playing this game and all the interesting scenarios you can do in this. Like, it's one of the reasons I like GBO2 is that you have so many suits, you can do so many team setups, and you have different maps that can work differently sometimes. Like that custom match, this first match we had in this video, I actually used that. We went past the B point on port base, which is that's been a while since that's happened. So there's a lot of different things about GBO2 that I like to see. And spectator match, yeah, I like to see you guys join in and have some fun. And maybe I can see you guys use the EWAC Jegan like successfully, make it look like a god, But yeah, that's gonna be it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.